Now it's recording. No pressure.
Yeah. Hey guys. Hey girlies. So the cheese knife, it is being sold for around 115. I only looked up this price. I wasn't gonna memorize the price of every cheese knife, but this is the most popular one, the traditional cheese knife. And I actually had a customer ask me, it's so random. She like, "Do you have a knife to cut sweet potatoes?" And if you guys actually watch the videos, the cheese knife actually cuts a sweet potato in the video. What a crazy coincidence, because who would ask that? Like, do you have a knife for a sweet potato? But I showed her the video. She didn't buy the cheese knife, but I've had a couple people actually buy the cheese knife just because they wanted something to look aesthetic. It's very pretty. It has the holes to create those little air pockets for when you're cutting cheese, those potatoes. Creates those air pockets just so your knife doesn't stick to it, right? We love that. And I was telling Nate this, but I was kind of the cheese knife chose me, really, because I cut my finger with it last week, and that was basically the reason John was like, "You're doing the cheese knife then, because it works, right? Like it's actually pretty sharp. It does the job you need it to do. I still kind of have the scar on my finger, but we'll ignore that. But like I said, those I know the way it calls it the holy knife. I know Gencel calls it the non-stick knife. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the cheese knife. It could be whatever you want it to be because it's not only used for cheese, right? So say someone wants a knife to cut salami or cut like cucumbers. This is potatoes, sweet potatoes, random, but that's the knife you would want to use. Like it's not gonna stick. It's the non-stick knife, right? It's a holy knife. It's the cheese knife, okay, guys? It's great. It creates a little air pockets with the holes just so it doesn't stick. Because who wants their knife, their blade to get stuck in their food while they're cutting? No one. Then what's the point of it? Like, can't even cut the food? But yeah. So like I said, it goes for 115. Tell your customers about it. They'll probably buy it. And that's my little piece of the week.
Go on. Hey, good job. All right. So
I got a new name for it.
what'd you guys learn from Kayla? Let's get a couple takeaways here. Give me a couple takeaways. What was something that you learned from Kayla? You could be on Zoom, you could be in this room.
That people have different names for it.
What are all the different names?
What were you saying? Like one of them was like the holy knife,
The holy knife,
and then
The non-stick knife.
non-stick knife,
we'll
good.
call it the cheeseman knife.
The cheese may knife.
The cheeseman knife.
Mm, I like that one. All right. How about what? Go ahead, Eddie.
Good talk, by the way. When I first gave a talk, that was the first talk I gave too, was on the cheese knife, and I just listening to you made me realize that you did like all the same stuff we were saying 14 years ago. That's crazy to think like, after all this time, it's like, it's nothing new. All the same basic stuff, so keep it basic.
Yeah, keep it simple. Keep it simple. David,
I think it was 72. No, 69, it was 69.
no, it wasn't. Oh yeah, wait, what it was. It was.
Back in my
Um, all right, cool. So David said that you're a good seller with the salute emoji. Let's see. Someone said one of the nicknames he said was the air pocket knife. All right, all right, all right. It's one of the most versatile knives. It can be used for more than just cheese. Sweet. Sweet. Look at we learned something new today. All right, cool. So thank you, Kayla, for that. All right. We are still recording. But I'm gonna bring up our next speaker here.
Great.
Just give me 1 second here while I bring up his slides.
Oh, I didn't email. No, it's not like
in depth. It's just to keep us on track. Just to keep us on track.
Nate's dialed, you guys. Oh, like the box Nate Retzer right there.
Yep.
Is this the office phone?
No, maybe I don't know, but this is a preloaded theme.
Okay. So real quick, let me just introduce Nate. So Nate is our sales manager. And what that is the lead assistant manager role. He worked really hard to earn this title. He does a lot of things. I ask a lot out of Nate, and he exceeds expectations, which is why I love working with him. He's the reason why a lot of you guys are even like in this room, with the job. Like, he does a lot of the advertising for the position. He does a lot of the hiring, the accepting of people on our team. He trains a lot of people. He's taking people field training. Plus he sells and to lead by example. And now he's starting to learn how to like train people and all that great stuff. So Nate's super awesome. He's approaching $30,000 in career sales. And one of Nate's specialty is selling sets. So give Nate a big round of applause. He's gonna give you the 5 sets.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. How we doing tonight?
Feeling good.
That was low. Come on, like give me some energy. How we doing?
Good.
Thank
Doing
you.
good.
Thank you. All right. This one? It is that one. All right, awesome. Yeah. So we're doing 5 steps to selling sets tonight. And yeah, we'll just jump right in. So first one, as you guys can see, it's gonna be goal sharing. So your goal sharing is probably, in my opinion, gonna be the most important part of your demo. Now, the reason for this is because this is where you're getting Mrs. Jones on your side, right? So you want to communicate your goals to her and also communicate that her buying Cutco from you is a way for her to help you achieve those goals. So you're getting her on your side, and it also gives her an even better reason to buy Cutco from you, just than Cutco being so great. Now there's that on top of it. So it just helps you out a ton. I'm not going to go into depth because it's a super like complex thing. A lot goes into goal sharing if you do it right. But yeah, if any of you guys ever want to level up, definitely like send me a text. We'll set aside some time, like 30 minutes, and we'll just dial in your goal sharing and get that done. But yeah, goal sharing is super important. Second is going to be showing them the set you guys want to sell. Now, obviously, I want you guys to show them all the sets, right? Show everybody everything we have just so they know. But, as you guys probably know, like an ultimate set doesn't make sense for everybody. Like if it's a single guy, who like doesn't cook that much, he doesn't need an ultimate set. Or like if they can't afford it too. So what you want to do is focus in on the set that's just going to be the best for them and make the most sense for them. And the way I like to do this is just by asking them what they want. So like at the end of my demo, I'll just straight up ask them. I'll say like, oh yeah, now you guys are a Cutco expert like me. So like, what do you think of the product? And they'll be like, oh yeah, Cutco's so great. Like it's amazing. It's a great product. I'm like, awesome. Yeah. If you were going to upgrade yourself to some Cutco today, what kind of set do you think would be best for you and your family as in terms of value over the next like 20, 30 years? And then they'll just tell you like what set they want. They'll tell you what looks the best for them. And that way, instead of, you come to the close and you ask them, oh, do you want to buy this set for me? It's like, oh yeah. So now like, how do you feel about getting the set you told me you like? They already told you they like it. That's the big thing. They already got that figured out. Now it's just, how are we going to get you the set that you told me you wanted? Right. So again, putting you guys on the same side. And now what you're tackling is getting the set they wanted. So yeah, you want to find the problem for them and be the solution, right? So your goal isn't to sell them everything Cutco has, right? You want to get them the Cutco that's right for them and that they can afford. Now, number 3 is going to be bring food on your demos. I probably told almost all of you guys to do this, but I'm a big believer in it. It really helps not only, bring up your average order, your closing percentage, but also your average order. So some of you guys who don't know, when I go on my demos, I always, every single time, stop at the store and I spend $10 on groceries. I get 2 carrots, 1 tomato, 1 onion, a loaf of bread, and a block of cheese. It's like a $3 block of cheese, the smallest one they have. And I cut all that stuff up on my demos with my customers. So they actually get to like cut through the cheese with the cheese knife. They get to use the trimmer on the tomato and they get to see what it would actually be like instead of just having to watch the videos. Now, don't get me wrong. The videos are great. They're so much better than nothing. But like if you have nothing here, the videos here, this is them actually cutting food. So the reason that it works like that is because when you're asking for the order and you're saying, do you want to try this out? The set that you told me you like, you want to try it out today. It's going to anchor that purchase to the feeling that you gave them. So like when they're cut, when they see the videos, they're seeing it, like they're understanding it, they know, but they don't feel. When they cut through the food, they're feeling it. They're like, oh, this is what it's going to be like when I have Cutco. So you just anchor them to that feeling, and it does so much work for you. And it just makes it so much easier. When you don't do that, it's just very black and white for them at the end because you ask for the order and it's just in their head. Okay, do I want to spend 1,600 on knives right now? Well, like if they have that specific feeling to think back to when you're at the end asking for that set, they're not just thinking 1,600 for knives. They're thinking, okay, 1,600 is a lot, but I'm getting that tomato knife which cut through the tomato like super easily. I'm getting that bread knife which left cut a bread without any crumbs. So they have those specific instances that they remember, that feeling that they remember for each piece, not just Cutco, but for each piece in the set. So it just makes so much more sense to go with a set when you do that for them. And now we kind of went over first, right? Like how them getting a set helps you. And then we went over like, showing them like what they can get. And then also how getting a set helps them, how they're gonna feel after they get their set. But the question you also need to answer is why should they go for a set? They know what it's going to feel like, but why should they do it? Because oftentimes they're going to need a little bit more convincing. And the phrase that you want to remember is like, Mrs. Jones, you're going to want all the right tools for all the right jobs. And the instance I think of is actually just happened last night. So I was on my demo and the husband, he was like cutting up the bread with the slicer and he cut through it. He was like, oh yeah, it works really good. They tried their own bread knife and it sucked. And then he was like, well, hold on, I want to try something out. So he grabs the trimmer, which is like this big, and then he tries to cut the loaf of bread, which is like this big. And he's like cutting through it and it's like going through part of the bread. And he's like, oh yeah, like that doesn't work. And it's like, yeah, because the trimmer's a tomato knife. It's not a bread knife. So like in that moment, I could see that light bulb going off in his head, like, oh yeah, different pieces are for different jobs. That's why we need this for the tomato and this for the slicer. We need both, not just one or the other. That's not going to work. So you want it, and I know this is in the script for you guys. I know you're probably saying this already, but I want to challenge you guys. Don't just say this to them. Make them understand it. Make it really hit home so your customers think it too. They know it, but do they understand it, right? So they need to understand why that actually is. And especially like that kind of ties in to them cutting food because my customer, he was able to understand it because he got to see it for himself. He got to see it play out. This is why the trimmer is for tomatoes and not bread. This is why we have multiple knives for different jobs. And that brings us to the last thing, which is just going to be when you're closing, factoring in bonuses to those, because a lot of people, they'll tell you what set they want and you cut food with them. They already love the pieces, but just on the price, that'll be the last point of contention for them. And what it's really hard for them to say no to is if they're getting a great deal. So sometimes like people will be on the fence, they're on the edge about it. And the last thing you need to do is just give them one last push. Usually I find that the bonus is that, even like Kayla got to experience that when I went field training with her. They were like ready to get, what was it, like the all knife set? And they were like, oh, I don't know. And they were like going back and forth looking at each other. And right in that moment before you're about to lose the sale, all she had to do was like, yeah, I can throw in those cutting boards for free. Right. It was just the cutting boards, right? Yeah. And then they're like, okay, let's do it. So yeah, like it's really hard for people to say no to a great deal. What goes into that is, pay attention to what they like throughout the demo. So like at the end, when they get to that point where they're like, I really like it. I think, it's worth it, but I don't know if I'm ready yet. And you can just bring that one piece of information you remembered up, like, oh yeah, I know you really liked how well the cheese knife went through that cheese, just like butter. Like, what if I was able to throw that in with your homemaker set? Like, what do you think? And then, it's a done deal. Like once they get a deal like that, it's over. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. 5 steps to selling sets. So yeah, put those in action. Try some of those out on your next bet.
Hey, oh, great.
Great time, man.
Cool. All right, what's the takeaway that you guys got from Nate?
He's a good salesman.
He's great at what he does. What do you say? You need all the tools. That helps. Bring food. What else?
Get all your goals.
share your goals. What? Tell me on chat here.
And one thing I forgot to mention, you guys don't have to like spend $10 at a grocery store. If you want to start small and just bring a tomato and like an onion, that even is perfect too. But I would definitely recommend at least bringing 1 or 2 things.
Yeah. Because especially like he has all the knives. Like you guys only have like the 2-3 knives in the loaner kit. So
Plus this is,
and this is like a thing.
Yeah, you guys are in your fast start. Take advantage of that. And then if you are not in your fast start, set up contests. Okay. So on Vector Connect, there's a section where you guys can order Cutco samples one time for an extreme discount. I think it's like 70 or 80% off. And you can get like a homemaker completion, right, for your samples. So it's a worthy investment. However, I don't want you guys spending money. I want you guys to hit your goals and make me spend money on you. Is that fair enough? So it's like I'm always down to do a contest where it's like if you sell a certain amount, I'll order those samples for you. Cool. So just set up a contest with me. Think about like what your goal is for the rest of February or for March, and we can set up like a month-long contest. And if you hit it, I'll order all those pieces for you. But that was really great, Nate. I'm proud of you. So one cool thing is to see is like the growth of Nate's like speaking too. So like the first time he did it, it was good, right? But it needed some polishing, right? Then he started speaking more and I was like, I have no feedback for you on that. It was good, dude. So I'd love to see that. Next up, we have about $2 million in CPO in the room that you guys can learn from. So first, let me introduce Austin. Some of you guys know who Austin is more than others. Austin's over $1 million in career sales. He's part of Cutco's Court of Honor. He's been selling Cutco for a long time. He just had a $10,000 order last week, which was pretty spicy. He's coming off of his best year last year, which is really cool. And then we have Eddie Seha here. He lives a little bit further, but it's always a treat to have Eddie here at the office for the team meeting. And Eddie's just about to hit Court of Honor here. He just won his sword at the kickoff conference. He had one of his best years selling Cutco last year. And Eddie, fun fact, well, used to be like my manager at a point. Like when I came up in the business, like Eddie was the top guy, and I looked up to Eddie, and he was somebody that took me field training, a ton. And I don't even know if Eddie remembers this, but there was a day. This is when I realized like there's levels to this Cutco thing. Eddie took me field training. We went to Palm Springs on 3 appointments, and I was like, "What are you gonna sell today?" He's like, "Probably a few signature sets." And then he just only showed signature sets to the people and he just told customers to buy it. I was like, dude, you didn't follow the script or anything. He was like, yeah, like they wanted it. Like he was like, who wouldn't want this set? He like literally just told the lady, like, yeah, just get it. You're gonna love it. And she did. I was like, oh my gosh. All right. So that's like that. I learned a lot of selling from Eddie. So these guys are gonna they volunteered some time to give some Q&A, and you guys can ask them anything. Maybe not anything, but just about anything about the Cutco biz. And so yeah, I'm gonna have you guys come over here.
What happened?
Should have brought up the chair.
No, what happened to our legendary chair?
Oh, Nate broke it.
Oh, Nate, the leather one?
Yeah, dude. See, he doesn't even know the power
Oh
of that
my
chair.
God!
I know,
And then
man.
that went back to West.
Are we gonna have to crucify this?
It's been down. It's been down.
Dude, I think we have to hit him with a dodgeball or something. We should line him up and all toss a dodgeball at him.
Down.
Fair enough.
Oh, he replaced it with that one.
This chair has over,
Yeah. It's seen like 7 or 8 DMs.
it's seen like 5 national championships through that chair.
Yeah, we'll never.
Dodge.
I can't believe I just witnessed this. I never thought I'd be here when that
Told
break.
you, Nate,
You know what I
still,
mean?
man. He didn't understand the severity of it. It's not
I'm
like
never gonna live this down.
I have a picture when I was a new rep sitting in that chair.
Oh my
Like
God.
14 years ago.
I saw it too. I was like, oh, look at the chair.
This chair doesn't even feel right, dude. It's like comfy and like
All right.
normal. It's like
You guys have any
I'm
questions?
not even
Any
sit on it.
situations that you guys like had that you weren't sure, like, maybe you could have handled it better and not sure how to handle it recently?
Talk to the room here.
I had a couple appointments where both they were getting
Speak louder.
divorced. So they were getting divorced, and there were like 3 couples I went to. All of them were getting divorced. I don't know why.
The
And I
same
couldn't make
group
this
of
up.
friends?
No. It's 3 different like
Divorce
appointments,
groups, huh?
and each appointment said they were gonna get divorced. And I was like, okay, so you still want to buy kind of situation? How do I approach that better when they say, oh, we're getting a divorce, so we're kind of tight on money?
Mm.
But
That's
I still,
the
and they
tough
still
one
love
for
cooking.
sure.
That's a 1 out of 10 scenario, but
That's like one.
my guy that I just sold 10 grand to, he actually got divorced and he came
Okay.
up so happy about it. And he originally, I pitched him, I think like 3 or 4 years ago. When he came up to the booth, I was like, there he is. And I might know him. I really don't know if I did pitch it, but he said someone did. I just assumed it was me. But he's like, dude, divorced her. I can get it now. I was like, perfect. Huh?
So you're saying keep in touch with
Yeah.
We talk about like having a divorce special. And it's the same special.
Yeah, that's
We just
probably
call
what
it
you
like,
do.
oh, we have the divorce special. We really do, divorce special.
So let him
They're like, oh,
know.
what is it? Right? It piques their curiosity, and then they're like, it's
So-
just still a homemaker.
So they're like getting divorced. They're like,
they were in the process of getting divorced. One of them was fully, they just got out of it. The other 2 are like separating and then they're.
did you ask like, hey, so did you keep the knives? Or did they take the knives?
I was shocked. I was like, oh, that's probably a demo. Okay.
Yeah.
I know, but I'd say not Cutco, but I'm just saying, hey, so like, did you get wiped out or did she get wiped out? Right? Or maybe it's like 50-50.
That's not gonna happen, bro. That's rare that you got it. I've never
That
had it.
actually sounds now like a great opportunity.
But it's
Honestly.
definitely maybe you're probably not gonna get to sell that at that moment. It's like if somebody's like wife or husband just died, like you're not gonna try to sell them something right there.
I
right?
mean,
I was
Give
just.
Give him a week or two.
no one's safe
Like
in
in
this
real,
division,
like,
all right?
in reality,
can
you're
tell.
probably they're probably not gonna get it there. It's just be like, hey, you know what? It's probably a difficult time right now. I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna make a note and I'm gonna reach out to you in 2 months. I'll still thank them like for letting you do the demo. It really helped you out.
They did give me a recommendation.
Oh yeah.
Remember, knives are a necessity. So cookware's a necessity, gadgets are a necessity. So
sell it to both.
if they really don't have it, like literally, it's like, dude, you actually need new stuff. One of you guys need new stuff. I know it's not great timing, but luckily, Cutco does have what we call an investment pay. So it helps you invest. But what you do is you tell them, you get them to say, it's safe to say you're gonna have to get this stuff eventually, right? They're like, yeah. Safe to say probably most likely would be Cutco. Yeah. All right, well, if it's gonna be Cutco, and Cutco goes up in price every year, so the longer you wait, the more it's gonna cost, but I know today's not the best day. Do you mind if I make a recommendation? And they go, yeah. All right, perfect. This is what all my customers do when they run into when they run into unexpected incidences, right? And you can use this whole framework for anyone that's like, oh, I gotta put my kid through college, or I have to, oh, my car just broke down, or whatever it might be. All you gotta get them linked to is like the fact, I need it, I'm gonna buy it, it's gonna be Cutco. And then you say, oh, do you mind if I make a recommendation? Perfect. What all my customers do is you just put it on a deposit. That way you can take advantage of the deal. We'll ship it out to you right away. And then just like you want to budget for it, Cutco's just gonna automatically just budget out those next 4 payments for you, interest free. And all you gotta put down is 253 today. If you really wanted to, could you swing 253? But you say it's a homemaker. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Next question. Anything, objections, how to sell something specifically?
It's the notebooks. Not many people got notebooks out.
Okay, so
This is all gonna go over your head.
I've had a couple customers where I keep calling them and they keep saying, like, just to schedule the demo, and they keep saying they're busy, follow up with me next week. And I follow up, and then they say they're still busy, like, and they just keep pushing it back. How do I just like?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. 'Cause
No, I got you,
your
I got
notes out. Hey,
So check this out. So yeah, like Adam suggests, I can definitely follow it. When would be the best day to follow up with you? Right, Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Cool. Hey, you know what? I happen to have that time open in my schedule. Why don't we just set up the appointment for Tuesday at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, is that what you're
It's their
asking?
own thing.
Great idea.
Yeah, I would do it that way. Because if not, that's always just going to be their case.
Right.
They're just going to keep pushing it. Hey, when do you want me to follow up with you? Next week? Okay, what day? I'm going to put it in my calendar. And then just.
Oh,
make that the day.
actually, I just need to do a demo that day. So that is great. Yeah, I do that all the time. Good question.
You guys want to know the secret to being good at this company? I was talking to Austin,
Secret?
was it yesterday, 2 days ago? About, was it even you? I don't know if it was you. It might have been Austin.
I've been reader.
No, I think it was
Could
you.
be yourself.
Um,
Could be that lady that talks.
but it was funny because like when you're a new rep, right, you're still learning everything. And the first time I met Austin, he actually came up to me. He's like, "What's the secret to selling Cutco?"
Good question.
But I realized that there really is like something you can do to like just get really good at this company, like really good. And I didn't realize that I was doing it until I believe it was you that I told us. And it was, you know what? I just did everything my manager told me to do. He'd be like, Eddie, check in with me before your appointment. So just check in with. He's like, hey Eddie, go book 5 appointments. I go book 5 appointments. Call me after each appointment or whatever it is, right? And I would do that. Eddie, come to the team meeting. Cool. Eddie, you're gonna give a talk. Cool. Eddie, come to Saturday. We used to have Saturday morning team meetings. Eddie, come to Saturday morning team. Cool. Eddie, come to Sunday night phone chat. I would just go and do whatever he told me. And I realized like I would stick around while some other reps were like just started disappearing here and there. And I was like, where is it? Where's like the rest of my training class? Right. But I was just doing exactly what my manager was telling me to do. And that was so weird to me. It was just like, that's the secret of selling Cutco. Because like John knows what he's doing. He's been in the business 13 years now, 12, 13. Like he knows what he's doing. Like if you just did what he tells you to do, like just do it. You're gonna be great. You're gonna be one of these guys.
Great tip.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, don't fight him. Don't fight your manager. Like, you're not gonna know better than him in the week or in the 2 months or even in the year. I was like at about 100. I was telling think about it. I was like in around 150,000 in sales, and I was still using my manual. Like my manual was still behind my blue book, just reading it. Just because it worked. I know it worked. I wasn't trying to do my own thing. I knew that worked. So I would just do that. So just honestly follow the manual, like listen to your your manager. They will be like they know what to do. That's the real secret of selling a lot of Cutco.
Part of the people instead of demo sheet, they get very suspicious when I mention downloading the My Cutco Rep app. So they end up not getting it. And like I don't know how to.
That's a great question because like if somebody came up to me and they're like, hey, download this app, right? What is it, right? So here's what I would want to know. If somebody was just telling me to download, like, hey, I'm gonna have you download this app, and then this is what the app's gonna do. It's going to walk us through the presentation. You can delete it right after. It's not gonna pull any of your information. Does it pull anything from them?
It syncs with their contacts and for recommendations.
It's like it's not. Okay, so how can we word that?
What are you guys trying to say, John?
Yeah. What do you guys?
We didn't have to deal with an app.
Yeah, it's
In
just
our
so
heyday.
that way.
We wish I had the app, though.
Feedback.
That app would have been great.
And then they can also schedule appointments with them and order products in the future.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe a little rep.
Is it a different app than?
No, it's a new app.
What?
My vector app.
Yeah, these guys, actually, these guys they didn't grow up in that.
But that's what I would want to hear. Because like what am I downloading? Just explain what it is. Like let them know, give them that ease of what it really is. Because isn't that what you'd want to do?
Yeah, but still like I do, but then they still like seeing the allow for access to contacts that like throws them off.
That pops
Do
up.
you explain what that does?
Yeah, and then I try to let them know, like I tell them everything that you say, like delete the app afterward, or like I'm not gonna get full access to your contacts. but like the app is because you need to sync to.
What if does it tell you like what you're explaining why it's asking for contacts?
Well, yeah,
So it,
John, how do you guys handle that objection?
yeah, it's a newer update where it asks for like full access
At the beginning?
right? So
And you can't like have them select the contacts, because then there's one, you have to, you have to hit full.
Full send.
yeah,
So
No,
you're
no,
gonna send,
Only allow a contacts. You know, they
2,000.
don't send you every contact, right?
No, so
Unless-
go to the next page and they'll see all their contacts, and then they could go through and select which contacts they would like to.
So,
This is at the beginning?
yeah. So because at the beginning it asked them two questions
my
like,
rep on
hey, was
time.
this person on time? Were they courteous in setting up the appointment? Set it down to the end, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do later with the. Then at the end, it's like rate my product knowledge, and then you ask for recommendations. And it pops up like their little profile page after recommendations. Then you tell them click share, and then they can see all their contacts and they can check everybody.
And then it sends a 3-way text.
So
I would think it's just letting them know what it
Next
is.
level,
It's
man.
like, hey, it's gonna ask you, it doesn't mean you're gonna send me all your contacts, Mrs. Jones. Later on, like I would clarify that. It's like, hey, it's gonna ask you, to allow access to your contacts, but it doesn't mean it's gonna send me all your contacts. It's like, I am gonna ask you for recommendations later. If you feel like I did a good job on my appointment or whatever, right?
yeah,
You can choose.
that's what I was gonna say. If they're getting pushback from downloading the app, it's like, yeah, I know, Mrs. Jones, it seems a little weird at first, but this is how I can credit for my appointment. And at the end, if I do a good job, there's gonna be a way that you can rate my product knowledge and get entered to win some free cut.
Yeah.
Because you know how we're doing the free Cutco for sponsors. So I was like, there's gonna be a way for you to help me out towards my goals at the end. And then go.
Do you guys all get that? Or is it just?
It's
Like, just
becoming
every
a
once in a
more
while?
common objection, but
Okay.
You can also have them write them down too. Write down numbers.
One thing I might add, especially if you're using the app, how you explain the app and how you bring up the app will also matter their comfortability of it. Like if you if you're not too sure, like if you're not confident like how it's gonna work, your customer's gonna feel that. And of course they're gonna be all sketchy about it. But if you present it's like, okay, hey, here's what we're gonna do, here's what's gonna happen. And if you're able to come at it with like full confidence, like, hey, this is what's gonna happen, here's what you're gonna do. Most people are just gonna go along with it because they'll just trust you and they'll just trust you that you know what you're doing. So what I would do is that I would actually make a fake appointment and actually go through the app, send yourselves recommendations. That way you know what's going on. So that way you're better able, so that way you're better able to guide your customers through that process as well. So
Maybe you guys should do a workshop.
there we go.
Do
Next
it
team
here.
meeting.
Yeah, that's great. See, look what you guys started.
Good job.
Does it have a script of how to explain it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of the recommendation.
Yeah. Cool.
but
Yeah, maybe add a little thing. Go with John.
Have you guys
for the
ever heard
workshop.
the 3 only things that will happen? Recommendation close? 3 only thing. Do you ever teach that, John? There's only 3 things that are really gonna happen, Mrs. Jones. One, this is the first thing that will happen, right? Is you give me their number, I reach out, they tell me they're not interested. That's great. I actually got to make a phone call, which is my job, is to reach out to nice people like you that might be willing to take a look. She said she wasn't interested. Cool, I'm never gonna call her again. But you're helping me do my job, and so I appreciate that. Step number 2, I call them, we do the appointment, they say come over, I show them Cutco. They don't buy anything, no worries. I still get paid just to show Cutco, and now they know what Cutco is, so they're probably most likely going to get Cutco eventually. I get to be their Cutco guy, right? We would have never known that if I didn't do the presentation, right? And then step number 3 is that I'm going to call them, we set up the appointment, I go over, they love Cutco, they buy Cutco, and they become one of our most raving fans of Cutco. And everything I know about Cutco is people have owned it for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years. So in the long run, right, who really benefits the most by us reaching out? It's going to be your friends, Mrs. Jones. So maybe you don't, and whatever you ask for, so maybe you asked for, like me, I would ask for 100, I'd ask to break my record, which was like 275 at the time. It was like, give me 275 names, you break the record, you get a free K-bar. What do you think? Where do we start? If I had that app, oh my God, I could have got 1,000 then easy. Just the thought of writing everyone down was like tough. But then I go to 275. They go, no, I'm just kidding. All right, what about because I am a student, I do get money for free scholarships. Most people do, and I already have my page papers and I'm showing them. I was like, everyone does 15, 15, 15. And they just see it. They see 15. You guys have a book? Do you guys mostly do in person for virtual? You want to show them like social proof in a way? I don't know the virtual play, but there's probably a virtual way to do social proof, wherever your mantra
Alright.
is.
Next question.
Huh?
Next question, guys.
Yeah, we don't do any of that anymore. That's old school stuff.
Well,
On the app.
whatever you ask for, just say you might have asked for 7 people. Then you do the triple close. Say, hey man, all I need are just 5 people nice like you. Who we start with, and then you just give them a thought jogger.
All right, I think we have some questions on Zoom. Can you look on Zoom for Denzel? I think he might have some questions.
I don't take Genzel's question. Okay. All I say is be better at Monopoly deal. Huh? All right. What's the best advice when closing with an unsure customer? What do you got, Eddie?
Best advice for.
What's the best advice when closing with an unsure customer? So someone who wants to buy, but they're unsure.
So I first try to figure out what they're unsure of. Just asking them, right? Straight asking them, like, hey, what are your thoughts so far? Just ask them what it is, because it could be anything. It could be anything from like if it's the right set, if it's price that they're unsure of, or the wrong color. Just ask them. You don't know what it is. You don't know what to say until you figure out what it is. So you got to ask them, like, figure out what they're unsure of, because like confused people aren't going to buy, right? It's people who are sure they know they want it. So I just ask them.
That is such a great tip, because like a lot of the times it's just you already know the question. It's like, well, so what is it? Right? Sometimes it's like, what is it? And you're like, well, it's this. Oh, we'll do this. Oh,
We as like salespeople, like we're just trained to like solve problems. You guys probably realize as long as you work here, like with your significant other, like they'll tell you something, you just want to solve it, right? Sometimes it doesn't work with that. Like you're just like, oh, just do this, but in their head doesn't. But in like this aspect, right? You want to hear that so you can be able to tell them that, make them. They need to just hear something so they have that confidence, so they're not unsure about whatever it is they're getting.
yeah. And if they've like never heard of Cutco, another good thing is like once they figure out what they might be unsure about, just really leverage the fact like, hey, you get 15 days to try it out. So if you're not 100% confident, just get it home, use it. You know you're gonna love it. Get 15 days to try it out. It's all forever guaranteed. Buy once, cry once. You're never gonna have to worry about buying knives ever again. It's worth the try, Mrs. Jones. Like you just keep hitting them on the forever guarantee, you know. What's the best way to sell yourself personally?
So yourself personally, goal sharing is really good. What Nate said. My niece, she's 13. She sold him a watch that he didn't even need yesterday or the day before, but it wasn't even because he needed the watch. It's just like, oh, she sold me on. She was raising money, saving money for whatever it is that she was trying to buy.
Oh yeah, where's my
Right.
watch?
I forgot it, but
Sucker ball.
so like sell them on yourself. So gold is a really good one. And then you as Cutco rep, you can sell them on yourself. Like, hey, Miss Jones, I'm gonna be your Cutco rep forever. So when that time comes that you need sharpening service, you want to order gifts or anything, you call me. I'm gonna be your Cutco concierge.
A co-concierge. Which is the truth. Now, another great way, if you're like, you just feel like you're talking too much about yourself and they're not talking about them at all, is just get really curious about them. Because the more you want someone to like you need to share that you like them more. Do you know the quote? What's the quote, Eddie? It's like people don't be interesting, be interesting.
Oh yeah, don't be interesting.
There it is. Sometimes you feel like you go on one of these things and you're like, I gotta be so witty, I gotta be so charming, funny, X, Y, and Z, right?
Is there any more on there?
That's literally what I thought when I first started. And you just go into these appointments, just freaking like inks, you know, you'd be worried if you're not on your A game that you're not going to do anything. But in reality, what I've learned, which gives me complete calm, Because Cutco sells itself, one. That's always like the best thing is like, oh, thank God Cutco sells itself.
I got a question for you guys. Why is T'Challa over there wearing a skirt and a bra?
That's a John.
We don't know either.
It's a Hawaiian night thing.
It's been like that for like a
Yeah.
year or two.
That was a while ago.
All right, anybody else have a question?
I've heard other CSPs say it's 30 days.
Yeah, it's like 30 days.
Okay.
The book says like
15.
15 working days from when they get the stuff. So it's like
Oh, would be 15 business days.
Don't say 30, say 15.
yeah, I say 15.
Okay.
But
And then,
30 does
and then if they really ask, they just say between me and you, I can
Give you a
stretch it a
month.
little bit for you.
Okay.
But in reality, 15 days start when you get it. Because I had one customer who was like,
All right,
they didn't believe that.
just 50 days. It's business days. So it's-
Got it. Thanks.
Anybody else have any other ones? Is there any on there? Any situations, weird situations that you guys have?
What's his name?
You guys all have, you guys all cut penny? You
I'll
guys
say his
can all
name's-
cut a penny?
Yeah.
Guys practice?
I have a
Eduardo
question for you.
Siha.
So at the end of a demo, how
Eduardo
would you
Siha.
present like accessories, flatware, cookware?
So I actually do it at the
Or
beginning. So like, here's something you guys should start doing now. It took us a while to learn. Like, you guys don't just sell knives, all right? Because people are asking you right now, you're already saying I sell knives. You don't just sell knives. You know what I'm saying? Oh, good job.
Oh, yeah, my dad was asking for a pot set.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're a whole kitchen company. So
Yeah,
I plant that seed at the beginning. It's like Mrs. Jones, like we don't just sell knives, we sell everything for the kitchen, from like our high-end cutlery to our flatware to our pots and pans and all the fun gadgets and accessories. Yeah. So that just
Ooh, that's
plants
a nugget.
seeds of like them knowing it's not just knives. Cause I don't know if you guys seen it. We have like a bundle. If you guys know what a Cutco kitchen is, when somebody buys a full cookware, ultimate flatware, all the gadgets and stuff.
Call your manager for that one. But yeah.
$15,000 order. Like, it's crazy. So don't just think of it as sell knives. Plant that seed at the beginning. When somebody buys their set, Ms. Jones, say they bought a homemaker set. Cool, Ms. Jones. You're gonna love these knives. Use them. When you're ready to get these specialty knives, we have an upgrade program where we're gonna take you from this set to that set that you really wanted. And what's great is that you don't have to rebuy the set because you own half of them already. We're just gonna upgrade your block. All your knives will fit in there, and then we just get you the knives you're missing. So then you upgrade them that. After you're done with that, Ms. Jones, then we'll move on to the flatware. Then we'll move on to the cookware. Just plant seeds. So you always have customers.
Because they might not buy it there, but they might buy it the next time you see it.
Yeah.
If you do this job right, every year you should see your client. For free sharpening, just a reason to see them, then they buy the next package. One package I like to sell, it's called the Clean Out Your Drawer program.
You'll learn that later.
Why not know?
That's a long one.
It's advanced.
You
Just
guys
sell,
just keep
sell
it
the
simple,
peeler,
yeah.
sell the peeler.
All right, I have some more questions. So Austin, what's your favorite thing to sell and why?
Clean Out the Drawer program. Let me tell you why.
I was like, as soon as you said it.
Never mind, Eddie.
Probably business good.
So we work a lot of with people who already have Cutco. So my favorite thing to do is upgrades. Have you guys done an appointment for somebody who has Cutco already? So it happens. It's gonna happen.
They're
It's
out there.
so much easier to sell to those people that already have Cutco because they already have it. They already love it. So now we're just gonna upgrade them. So the upgrade program is one of my favorite because now it's like, okay, cool. Let's get you the ultimate set from whatever set they have. We're gonna get you to the ultimate set. So I like that. That's my bread and butter.
There's
Sets. Upgrade to ultimate sets.
How do you do the upgrade?
So it's actually really simple. So check this out.
Bringing up the whiteboard.
Say they have a homie, right? It's got 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, terrible. 10 pieces and the block. Oh, actually 18 pieces because 18 one
uses
is,
the block.
right? So the ultimate, how many pieces does the ultimate have? 32. 32. So 32 pieces. 32 pieces. And then the block. So from this, they already have this. So we take these off. So we're only going to get them the pieces they're missing. Right? Two pieces are missing and the block. That's pretty much what the upgrade is. You can take their old block. I like doing that because it makes them feel really good. But like Miss Jones, we have this trade-in program. We do have a trade-in program where if they send their old block back, they get like 50% credit for it. But I just take their old block and then I bonus out a knife or something because they can get more credit for it. So that's pretty much how it works because all their knives will fit in this new block, and then we just get them the pieces they're missing.
Upgrade.
Does that make sense?
So like
You're gonna get the homemaker. You're gonna get the cheese knife, the santoku, the hearty slicer, the boning knife, cleaver, vegetable knife, bread knife, salmon knife, orange paring knife.
You buy all the knives separately?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they already have it. They don't. If they buy the whole set again, they're gonna double up on these pieces. And if they don't want to double up on these pieces, then you just get them the pieces you're missing.
So how would you do that? Like they already have those pieces. Would you just take it out of the ultimate set and just?
Just piece out the set. So
It's already on the shop.
if they wanted the
Okay,
special,
option.
I was gonna tell you if it was on there. Yeah.
If you go to bundles, find the set and then you go set breakdown.
Oh,
just
okay.
take out all the
And then
pieces.
sometimes they have like a homemaker and then a cheese knife, so that might not work unless you can take stuff off, right?
It's a call, John.
It's actually quite simple. So you guys,
You don't need this guy. You don't need this guy, man. Cut him out.
yeah, you guys all use this stuff. So all the homemaker
You don't
pieces
need
are
them.
already right there. Just remember what's in the ultimate set, and then just add it to your cart. So orange slice.
No, actually, it's easier than that.
If you go
Just
back,
go ultimate set and then do set
So
breakdown.
go to bundle.
And then delete what they have.
if you
Oh, it
actually
does let
scroll-
you to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
so do
I wasn't
set
sure.
breakdown
And then you can.
So you would go to ultimate upgrade.
It's not in bundle.
Discounted.
Don't listen to these guys.
No, you don't want that one. That one's weird, baby.
No.
Just do an ultimate set. Break it down individually
There's-
and then replace what they own.
They could block upgrades that are already prepackaged. Or you would just, what I would teach them to do is just add the ultimate set, do set breakdown,
App Store, no?
and then delete the ones that they already have.
So going into
They
sets,
don't have the, is that,
In concept.
they have that.
they don't have that. Wait, is it this one?
Has any of you guys like went and like upgraded your phone recently? Like you've ever like paid for your own upgrade? Right? You just go to the store and they just upgrade you. Anyone have that feeling? That's essentially what you're always doing with a past customer with Cutco. Treat it just like an upgrade. They're already sold on Apple. If you're an Apple guy, you go into the Apple store, you're gonna want the next best thing. So what you're recommending is the next best thing. And then just call John and I'll give you the details.
Turn that laptop, please. Julie, did you have a question on that?
Well, I answered it. It was
Okay.
if we select it like one by one.
Yeah.
You guys answered.
There's also a great way to like do a lot of upgrades. I remember when I heard this from this girl, Charles's friend, you don't have to know the name, forget her name, but she was like, just like this. And she opened up her book and she had this thing called Cash for Clunkers in her book. And I was like, what is this? There's this trade-in special. And I don't know why, but the idea of the trade-in special that you can trade in your old mismatched stuff. So like you go to people's homes, right? They might have Cutco, but they might, like when it comes to the cookware, the gadgets, the accessories, back to John's question, they might have a mismatched set of pots and pans. Like, hey, we actually have a trade-in special. Trade in your old stuff and we'll actually get you the new stuff with Cutco. Because you trade it in, we actually bring it to the office and then we'll give it to Goodwill. But because of that, my office will give you a deal on this trade-in. So we'll actually give you money back for your old beat up things. And now you're all going to be all in on Cutco. So promote the trade-in special. And you'll sell so much more cookware sets, flatware sets, my clean out the drawer program. It's like just trade out all your old
Oh yeah.
drawers full of stuff. You got 3, 4 can openers.
And we
20
got two in here. All right, all right. We got a question here.
Okay.
All right. Desi, I'm not sure what you mean by your question. You want to create buyer's impulse? I don't think that's a good thing to have buyer's impulse because then they get like buyer's remorse if they buy. Don't do that.
Customers more urgent in buying.
Buy now bonus for sure.
Why not buy?
Then the next one's a scheduling. This one's a good one. How do you pronounce Gencel? Gencel. What's the best way to schedule your entire week? And how do you keep track of your goals for the week? The thermometer works. I've always been a fan of the thermometer. Like you can do it for CPO, you can do it for appointments. But do you guys use a schedule for your week? Like what do you guys use? Like an actual sheet of paper or phones? So I used to like using the actual sheet of paper because it was like I can see it. I don't like working every day. Who likes working every day? Yeah, you like reading every day?
I don't like having free time because I just not do anything.
Right. It's dangerous, right? So you got to schedule your free time.
Okay, wait.
So you can do a whole teaching topic on just scheduling. So here, I'll go back to the board. This is an easy way to do your scheduling. So you have your days, and then you decide what days you want to work. How many appointments do you want? What's a good average for you guys in appointments? 20. So you're gonna do 20, right? So how many appointments would you guys do a day?
I would say 10 to 15 for most people.
10, 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Day?
Oh,
I was like, wait a
so
minute.
say you're gonna do
Okay, man.
say you can do 4 appointments. You schedule 4 appointments. Monday, you definitely want to have appointments. Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right. So here's how I would do. I would definitely have 4 on Monday. So it's like, hey, this is work. And I'm done by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever, right? Tuesday is the beginning of the week. Definitely I'm going to do 3 appointments there. Wednesday, I'm going to go golfing, so I'm not going to work there. And then the team meeting later, right? Team meeting. And then Thursday, I'm going to do 3 appointments.
A lot of you guys like golfing, huh?
Yeah. 3,
Okay,
4.
He doesn't think golfing.
Look at 13.
They're rich people, right?
You can do 13 appointments. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the weekend off because I did my 13 appointments. That's a scheduling. Just every day you'll be done by like 4 or 5 o'clock, starting work 8, 9, whatever. And then you hit your goal for the week. And you didn't have to work the weekend. You can take the weekend off. Go to the beach. Go golfing. Go to Costco.
I think more of Jancel's question was like, do you just take a whole day and just book up your whole week, or do you do it gradually?
No, I make calls like, it feels like every day, just different calls. Cause like what I used to do is like only make calls during the team meeting, and I was calling the people all the time, and then they never answer. So I'd be like, oh, I don't have appointments because they never answered. So now I make calls here. I'll make calls here. I'll make calls here, random times of the day. So we got a hold of different people at random times of the day. So call at different times. People that didn't answer right now, call them in the morning. Maybe they're already asleep now, but they wake up at 4 in the morning. So call them by 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:15.
Cool.
Hope
All right,
that answered your question.
Thank you, Eddie. Austin, give these guys a round of applause. All right. So I'm gonna wrap up with just one quick thing. We're gonna go like 5 minutes over. But pull out your notes for this one. Eddie, you know how, so one cool thing about having like friends in the business, like you help each other grow. So here's a book for you, Eddie, that me and Eddie always give book recommendations. It's called The Radical Leap. So I was gifted this book by our region manager at our kickoff conference. And it's a pretty small book. I read it in like 2 days. But it's called The Radical Leap. Now, some of my slides, you don't need to write down everything on each slide. This is something I'm actually like talking about at like at an event for some people. So I'm practicing with you guys. All right. So I'm getting paid to talk about this. You guys get it for free. All right. So so the radical leap. So the thing about this book, it's talking about how to explode your results, right? How to explode your results. But a lot of the stories in this book are about leadership. And I want to start with this room right here, right? You guys are already leaders. Like anybody we accept to our team, I already view as a leader. I view as somebody that I want to grow my business with, somebody that I want to work with. And leadership matters when you're in sales. So the first thing is when it comes to leading, you have to lead with passion, authenticity, and impact. Now, when I tie this into sales, right, I think about the passion. Like, could you tell that like Austin and Eddie, can you tell they have fun doing this job? Right. So it's like it's very low key. You got to have passion with it. You got to be yourself, which leads to authenticity. Right. As you can tell, like Austin's being himself when he's up here. You know, Austin's like a fun person to be around. And like I loved like the perfect thing when Eddie was like, would you try to sell to somebody that their husband just died? And then I see Austin like, well, you know, like probably, right? But that's just like being like that's Austin being like authentic, which leads to impact. Okay. Now, this is my favorite picture of the year, our kickoff conference picture. But the thing that they teach in this book, it's called Leap. All right, it's called Leap. So I wanted to teach you guys this. Oh, I should probably fix that order. But Leap stands for love, energy, audacity, and proof. Love, energy, audacity, and proof. And I'm gonna go into each of these steps. So don't worry if you didn't get it. But let's start with love. So selling with passion, you got to love your product, right? I was talking with Mina before the team meeting, and she was like, I can't wait like to like because she hasn't got her sample sets yet. So she's about to get those today. And I already get like when we were talking about some of the challenges she's faced since she started, and then when she started talking about the product, her face like lit up. She's like, this product's amazing. Like, I want to buy it for myself, right? But like you got to have that passion, that same energy that you're sharing it with me, with like your customers, right? And then it's important for me to have passion. Like, trust me, I would not be doing this for 13 years if I didn't love what I did, right? If I didn't love the product, if I didn't love the people. So you got to have passion, and that's what builds trust and confidence. All right. So for example, you know, loving a product or an experience so much that you want to be a part of it. And I don't know if you guys have ever been a part of something special like that where other people just naturally wanted to join. They didn't even know what you were doing. They just saw you having fun. Right. I think about my two daughters right now. One of the kids is having more fun than the other. Automatically, the little one just wants to be a part of what her big sister is doing. She doesn't even know what she's doing, what she's playing with, but all she knows is she wants to be a part of it. Right. So that's what happens when you have great passion and love for what you're doing. The next one is energy, bringing excitement because energy is contagious and your attitude affects your customers. So if you have higher energy, that's going to equal higher engagement and better retention. So I think about some of you guys that do virtual appointments, right? You got to have high energy on those virtual appointments because let's be real, like I don't know if I would want to be sitting on a Zoom with somebody for an hour if they were monotone the whole time. If they're like, okay, let me tell you about Cutco. Cutco's great. Been around since 1949. You know, like I would not want to buy from you, right? So like the beauty of having the virtual demos is you guys can record your demo and see if you would buy from yourself, right? But like bring energy and that's gonna affect everything else around you in your business as well as your life. So here's an action step that I have for you guys. Brent, start every call with something positive or something that energizes both of you. So, like any sales call, any demo, this is why the rapport part of the demo is so important. And you guys are going to learn about rapport from DeWeet next week. But this is why like the rapport part of it's so important because it's setting the tone. So if you come in with energy and excitement and you find things that energize your customers, that's why I love to talk about things that energize other people. I already have my energy. You guys know that, right? You guys are calling me and I'm always like fired up on the phone, right? So it's like usually when I'm talking to you guys, I'm always asking about you because I'm just trying to figure out like what gets you excited. And I want to talk more about those things so that way we can start our conversation off in the right foot in the right direction, which leads to audacity. Man, I got to fix the order of these slides. But audacity is thinking big. Thinking big. And audacity means taking bold action and embracing risk. So for some of you guys, it might have felt like a risk starting this job, right? You might have had a parent be like, that's not stable. Go get something stable. Or, like, oh, I've never heard of this company. This seems a little risky. All right, well, now you're here, right? You know us. We're real, right? But also, risk is everywhere. I always have people tell me like, I want a stable job, but here's the thing. There's no such thing as stability, right? Because when you work for any other company, you are as stable as that company is. And companies have been going bankrupt left and right. I don't know if you've looked in the last like year or two. And it's funny, like a lot of companies like I wanted to work for at some point in my life, they're not even around anymore. Right. And some of you guys heard this story where I talked about like I was gonna go work for like Sports Chalet or something like that. They went bankrupt like the next year. Right. So it's like if like and a stable job, if you're late enough times to that job, like they'll fire you and just hire somebody else. So that's why I always loved working here, is like I had a lot more control and I was only as stable as I was. So you know how like Eddie was saying, he makes calls whenever he can make those calls, right? And that's why he's built a consistent business. He's doing it daily, right? And he's found a rhythm with it, and he's just became consistent. And Eddie can even mention when he's like not consistent. Usually he's traveling a lot and he's off his rhythm, right? So challenge the norm. Don't settle for average, right? You might see like even when you come into a team meeting, you might see somebody not working as hard as somebody else, right? You get to decide what your effort's going to be, right? If you see everybody on our team selling $1,000 a week, or if you see the top person's only at like 2,000, don't strive to just be like them. Like, what would a $5,000 a week look like for me? What would it look like if I did something crazy that like never been done before in my office? So it's just a fun little action step that you can do just for fun. Work back a large goal. Maybe it's an income goal, maybe it's a demo goal, maybe it's a sales goal, but just like think of like the biggest goal you can think of and just like, all right, now let me see if this is actually possible. Right. I remember as our office was growing, right? Like now we do $1.4 million in sales, but 5 years ago, that did not look possible. I was like, man, this is going to be like impossible to do this. Right. And then we got over 1 million. And I'm like, it's going to be impossible to do this. And just so you guys know, I have never hit any of my Cutco goals ever. Right. Like every goal, I fall way short. Last year, our goal was to do 2 million. We did 1.4, right? The year we did 1 million, we were trying to do 1.5, right? When I had my fast start, my goal was to do 10,000. I did 6, right? So it was just like, I've never hit my goals, but I've always had a big goal. Does that make sense? I never settled for something smaller just because of like me not wanting to take the risk. So just go for it. All right. And then the P stands for proof. Deliver real results. Your actions must align with your words. So some of you guys that were newer in my training, right, this last week, you guys were saying you wanted a big goal, right? You remember I was like, you're not allowed to go for that goal unless you're gonna do the work, right? Because it's not easy. It's a hard goal to go for. And so if you say you're gonna do something, you need to make sure your actions are aligning with what you want to go for. And this is how you build credibility, is through consistency. Okay. You don't need to write down this example. That's not for you guys. Okay. So here's how you apply the leap. Build authentic connections. So, to be honest, like I'm not interested in making relationships with people that can't accept me for who I am. So this is why I'm always saying be yourself, right? The authentic relationships are the ones that are gonna last. I have friends that, I have good friends, I have friends that I'm unsure of, but I love them for who they are, right? So you want to build authentic connections, and your customers are going to love you. There's customers for everybody out there. You don't need to be like Eddie. You don't need to be like Austin. You don't need to be like Nate or DeWeet or Kayla. You just got to be you, and you're going to find the right people. Energy, stay motivated, and try to inspire others, right? Always view as a challenge that I'm going through as an opportunity to inspire somebody else, because I'm like, you know what? I can handle this challenge. You know, it's like the challenges are only temporary. You know, what if I get through this and then now I can show the positives to somebody else that might be facing the same challenge that might not have the same mental toughness as me. Push beyond your comfort zones. So when something starts to feel uncomfortable, that's when you want to lean in, right? Which is why Nate sold a signature set. He leaned into an uncomfortable situation. And then, it ended up not being as bad as he thought it was going to be. Right. So it's like a lot of that, nerves and that uncomfort, it comes just more in our heads. It's just from us thinking, overthinking it, thinking too much. Eddie and I's and Austin's old division manager used to always say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because the more times you can operate in that uncomfortable zone, you're going to achieve massive growth. And then show your people real results. And for you guys, your people might be, your parents that are negative. It might be your family, it might be your cousins, it might be your customers. All right. And then you got to take radical action. So this is the author of the book. This is one of the quotes in the book that he said, do what you love in service of people who love what you do. So there's a lot of customers out there that love what Cutco does. There's a lot of customers. There's millions of customers that love what Cutco does and what our people provide. And just remember, you guys are providing people with a world-class product that's the best of its type anywhere in the world. All right, but that's it for the team meeting. Thank you guys for being here. Stick back if you want to ask Eddie or Austin any more questions, or if you guys want to play Monopoly deal. I do owe you guys a raffle for a queso cuchillo.
The cheese may nine.
All right, so
Oh, right.
here's what we'll do is I'm gonna do the raffle on our WhatsApp chat. So check the WhatsApp chat tonight. All right, there's gonna be a spinning wheel on there. I'm gonna record it and we're gonna do it because I forgot to do that sooner. All right. And then whoever wins the cheese knife, I'm gonna order it for you, whatever color you want, and I'll send it straight to you.
Purple? Because
No.
Not anymore.
not anymore.
Yeah, it was a limited edition. Limited edition. All right, but have a great night, everybody. Stick back if you want to play Monopoly deal.
So you're gonna add something on the chat, like a spinning wheel, or?
Yeah. I'm gonna put everyone's name on the spinning wheel.
Now people are like,
I thought you guys were gonna do it earlier. That's why I was gonna be like, I was like, okay, excited. Bye.
All right.
I gotta
See you later.
take back from this. Oh, yeah. They'll fire you for that.
I never committed to the handshake.
Let's use the Hong Kong set.
Yeah, pull up the Hong Kong set and the table. You want to play Monopoly deal?
Sample kit, but yeah, I like my.
Oh yeah, I'll grab you a sample kit right now.
I'm gonna stare at those tonight when I get home.
I love it.
you're gonna pull out the table.
Yeah. Turn the table. Your mom what?
Called me earlier, like before the meeting started. And I don't even remember why. Oh, she wanted to know when to pick me up. And I was like, I don't know, but mom, I'm so annoyed. Like, I want my knives now.
Yeah.
And I told her, I'm like, I want ultimate set. She's like, well, what color would you want? I'm like, classic. You can maybe look at my.
Tell her like,
I
mom, you gotta buy something. I'm gonna win more products in my fast start.
think it's crazy though. I want.
You buy me the set and then you give her the fast start prizes.
I want the knives more than anybody else in my family, and I don't even freaking cook.
Yeah, same number of stuff. Like,
Right.
Just like Hong Kong.
Hey Desi, message me about that on WhatsApp. Chris.